So are you still alive? Yes? It's been a tough day, so I will be very brief and try to give the most important message about our European project. Okay, so very briefly, I will review what is the European Joint Programme of Rare Disease, what is the structure of our protocol, and then just to briefly explain how we ended to this project. So the European Joint Programme actually was a program, European community dedicated to the investigation of rare disorders, and it was aimed to bring over more than 100 institutions from many countries, even outside Europe. And there have been many called since 2019 for funding on projects about rare disorders. And I have to say that this program ended last year and now is being substituted by another alliance, but with the same aim. So this is our project. The project is called European Natural History Study and Search for Novel Biomarkers. When we talk about biomarkers, it means that any substance that you can find in the blood or CSF that correlates with the disease and hopefully with the progression of the disorder. So it's supposed to last for 3 months. 3 years, and it was officially started last year, 1st of June, and will be ended in April 2013. So the consortium is done by, we will see later, and there are 2 main aims of the project. The first is to prospective evaluate patients. It means that the patients that will be enrolled will be assessed uniformly with the same scales all over the countries. And of course, they will give us insights about the genotype-phenotype correlation, the progression of the disorders. We heard how variability, the symptoms of patients. So if we are able to study in the same methods, I think we will gain more information about the disorders. And the second aim of the project is to identify any biomarkers. And we decided to explore 2, areas. The first is neuroinflammation, and the second is the microbiome. I will explain later. These are the consortium. There are 7 countries and 5 clinical sites: Italy, France, Israel, Germany, and Turkey. And there are 3 sites for basic research, Ginevra, Rome, Santa Lucia, and also Israel. The partners are those who have been funded by their national agency, but also there are collaborators, which means people and countries that participate to the program, but unfortunately were not able to get funding. And you see C3 and C7 were originally included in a consortium, but they were not allowed to participate because they were not funded. So Bambin Gesù and Jean-Pierre Lin actually are not participating into the consortium because they were not getting any approval for the committee. The important role of the PAOS, we will see later. The German power was not there at that time, but Italy, Spain, and Netherlands gave a very fundamental contribution. So the project is divided into parts. The first part is the clinical part, and then there is the basic research part. So this is the enrollment plan. It's very ambitious, and you will see how many patients are expected to be enrolled from each site. And this is the prospective study, which means you will see all the scales that each site will use for every patient. And we are aimed to explore all the movement disorder, epilepsy, cognition, quality of life. And this patient will be evaluated prospectively, so 1 every year, for 3 years. So we'll have a follow-up and a natural history, which is very important. But also, and this is one of the most important aim, we will create a registry. So data will be there, and hopefully will be there even after the ending of the study. And you all know that to have a registry and to have natural history study are absolutely fundamental for any trial that will come. And the registry, Moritz did a wonderful job. Then we have the radiological part. So we analyze the MRI imaging in order to get insights about the MRI aspects, brain tissue volume, structural connectivity. And then there is the basic research plan. And so there are different areas. So we have the plasma biomarkers, the microbiome signature, and we want to validate this data in mouse model, and we have the metabolomic. Just to explain why we choose neuroinflammation, for two reasons. First, start from the clinical observation. You all know that patients have a marked susceptibility to infection. You know that symptoms like movement disorder, epilepsy are worse than or even triggered after an infection. So neuroinflammation must have a role, at least in the progression of the disease. But we also know from the study that GNAO1, G-alpha, is important also as a specific involvement in immunoresponse. This has been proved, so that's why we choose to explore the plasma. And also we want to explore the microbiota. Microbiota refers to all the virus and fungi and bacteria that lives in our gut and have a lot of important function. We know that some neurological disorders, for example, Parkinson's disease, has a lot of influenced by the microbiota. And so we decided to explore the genetic signature of the microbiota to see how it changes among patients, correlate with the genetic background, and also with the symptoms of the disease. But I think that besides the scientific value, one of the reasons of the successful funding of our project was the role of the PAO. This has been much appreciated by the reviewers. And you can see today is a perfect example of your role. So we state in the protocol that the PAO attend all the meetings, and you are here, facilitate the connection between families and clinicians, keeping the GNAO1 families informed about the progress of the project, and disseminating the results. And I think this is really a perfect example. How the story began. So I think the story began after the meeting in Rome, and PAOs really strongly support the idea among the clinicians who participate to the GNAO1 community scientific to get together. So we start thinking about the European consortium at the end of 22, and in January 2023, we defined the consortium, European and not only European, and decide to apply for the call. The call was selected out of 27 patients, projects were selected. We were one of that. And in December 2023, we had the news that the project was funded. And from then to now, many months were necessary to do all the bureaucratic documents. So the first 6 months were the consortium agreement, the data management plan, and then it took even more from local ethical committee to get the approval. Just to know you that we have the approval 1 month ago of the last site, so more than 1 year after, because of course any local committee discussed the protocol, so this is something that really took a lot of time. And then we spent a lot of time by reviewing the database. That means which information we had to include in the registry, and this was discussed with all the partners and collaborators, and finalized 2 months ago. and we are start enrolling patients in June 2025. This is the status of the enrollment. So all the patients will be scheduled in each site. Some have already been enrolled, some will be briefly. So we hope probably we'll get an extension to achieve our goal to have a prospective evaluation once a year. And I just want to end with the involvement of our department. That was when the T-shirts came out. And in the second picture, you see Sophia was the first patient enrolled, and she really wanted to show the picture just to prove that she participated to the science. Thank you very much.